Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the cut content of Spec Ops The Line. And this time we're going to be delving into the E3 2010 footage of Chapter 7, which offers us a unique look at how Spec Ops' midpoint chapter differed compared to the final build. Aesthetics aside, of course. Some notable differences are that there seem to be fewer filters present, at least when it comes to the visual design. The final game is brighter and more colorful, at least with the settings I have, whereas things are more subdued and drab in the 2010 build. A prominent change I noticed, and I'm sure others did too, aside from the beta guns, is that the Insurgents appear as enemies, at least in this build. I don't know why. By the time Chapter 3 is over, you are done fighting the Insurgents for the rest of the game, and they actually reappear as allies in Chapter 10. They appear defeated for the most part in Chapter 7, but here you're actively fighting against them, and I'm not sure if that was to hide the twist of you fighting the 33rd. I don't know how well kept of a secret that was, if it was a secret at all. Compare that to the final game, and it's clear these guys, you're already fighting the 33rd for several levels at this point. And there are more of them in this level, also. It's tough to tell if it was like a rogue band of insurgents, if Gould's men were fighting you and fighting the 33rd at the same time. Again, the story seems like it would have been the same, but the minor details are tougher to tell. Maybe this was from an earlier draft or something, or maybe the insurgents still wanted to take Walker and Delta down for killing their comrades in the early levels. Regardless, it comes to a head in the confrontation between the Interrogator, or Randolph Dossler, and Gould, who's been captured.
I'm reloading! Kill confirmed. That's the last. Why do this? These people were beaten.
Things start to unravel in a way that they don't expect. There's something very sinister going on in the streets of Dubai, and they're looking for a man named Colonel John Conrad. And we find out a little bit about the story and in this first part of the game as the squad starts to realize what's actually going on here.
Gould appears about the same as he did in the final game, but the Interrogator looks completely different. His uniform's the same, but his face model looks a lot different. It looks a lot rougher and a lot it looks less clean cut. Not necessarily less detailed or anything like that. I think the aesthetic choices also make the differences clearer. The dialogue between Lugo and Adams is also a lot different. It stood out to me when I first watched it because there's a lot less intensity, and Adams is also expressing a lot of hesitation about going in there.
You'd have to be to attack the gate head on. See, I think your little assault was meant as a distraction. A cover for your partner, Agent Riggs. Tell me where he is. Fair enough.
Why are we just sitting here?
We got no idea what we're up against. Conrad's whole battalion could be right around the corner.
They're killing innocent people.
I don't like it either. But if we charge in guns blazing, they'll just get caught in the crossfire.
Okay, great. Those are great answers. Lots of great information. We'd like to close by having you remind us when the game is coming out.
Fair enough. Next.
Slow up. Gotta be smart about this. Okay, Gould's right there, and I got a clean shot. You open fire now, the civilians are dead. Does that mean nothing to
you? Begin.
He also mentions Conrad, which is kind of odd. Aside from Walker, not many people name Conrad directly. Lugo brings him up once, I think, if you kill Lieutenant McPherson in Chapter 4. But outside of that, you don't really hear them talk about Conrad all that much. It's interesting. It makes me wonder if Conrad was still alive at this point in development in 2010, or in this version of the story. or if more characters were supposed to talk about him directly. Outside of that, we don't really get a good look at where the interrogation goes from there, or if there's an ensuing battle with the 33rd, if you try to save Gould. But the snippet we do get is interesting. Some scenes are beat for beat the same as they were in the final game, but others are radically different, and those differences really stand out to me. There's also a snippet of Walker using an RPG against the helicopter in Chapter 7, but I don't know if that was just made for the trailer or what. I've never seen any indication that Walker could shoot down helicopters. It's tough to tell. I mean, you can shoot down helicopters in the opening section, but that's kind of scripted. So it never really felt like something that Spec Ops was trying to pull off. A lot of the combat is just focused on the ground, on infantry combat, aside from the turret sections and the Humvee section, and the helicopter chase. Anyway, what do you guys think? How different do you think this build of the game was in terms of gameplay and story? And what all do you make of the differences you see here between the retail build and the 2010 build? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Cut Content of Spec Ops The Line. Take care.